Hey everybody, what's up? This is Devin, LaVore, and
Michelle,
coming at
you.
ya. I don't know why we do that. We just do it. We love it.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious. But anyway, so even though you're watching this on the 2nd of September, we made this video on the night of September 1st.
Yep.
Pretty much like a couple hours after the last video I released. And the last video I released had some pretty good insights and some pretty good encouragements. But then, during like worship time and our prayer time tonight, the Lord kind of shared something with Michelle. And I was like, oh, we have to get that on a video.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so we were just worshiping, praying. And I just felt like God kind of showed me that, because this last week has been kind of weird and we haven't really been
different
sensing
and hard.
God the same way that we had been prior, and it just was like, what is going on? And I felt like, God just kind of gave me this picture of, you know how like when a child's learning how to ride their bike and they get to the point where you can take the training wheels off, and then usually like mom or dad, they kind of hold on to the bike, and then there's like a gnat, sorry. So they hold on to the bike, but then when they feel like, all right, you've got this, they let go. And I think God just kind of showed me that's what he's been doing with us this week. He was actually letting go of the bike to see if we could, keep it going. And for us, like for me, a bike represented the promises, like the dreams, the vision that God has given us. Are we going to still hold on to those, or are we going to like fall and crash and just let it go? And actually Sunday night, God it was awesome. Sunday night was awesome with the Lord. And
what happened Sunday night?
it was the Song of Solomon, all of that.
Oh, that was Sunday?
Yeah.
Dang.
I know.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
We won't edit this part out. Just go.
So it was the Song of Solomon, and God brought us to.
Well, we read the first four chapters,
and then like the first verse.
Because that morning we were asking God, like, we want to know, show us your fierce love, because we didn't want to just sing a song, your love is fierce, and be like, oh, that's just a nice song to sing. No, I want to know what that means, And so I asked everyone, like, hey, what's your definition of love? And no one in the family said God's love is passionate, it's intense, it's fierce. I was like, okay, we need a revelation. Yeah. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's really kind of what he did. So we ended up reading some of Song of Solomon, and which of course is, I think hardly anybody ever reads that book, because it's like, what are you talking about? So we were reading, and one of the verses that really stuck out to us was actually chapter 5, verse 1. And in it said, basically, for now I know you are mine, irrevocably mine. And it just reminded, like, it was like, God was like, yes, like, I know now, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that you two are mine. Our family is his.
Kind of like that moment when Abraham reached for the knife to slay Isaac. He was like, whoa, don't do it.
Yeah. And
now I know.
Now I know. Yeah. You won't withhold anything. And so it was just this really awesome, beautiful moment. And then this whole week has just, after that, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, here we are on Friday, and it's just been like, okay, what is going on? Like, we've had, it's just that feeling of like, okay, God is just like right here, and he is just like just in love with us. And it was like, okay, what happened?
What happened to all that?
Yeah. And
like all of a sudden it was just like, it was like a vacuum.
Yeah, it was weird.
And it was like what? I don't understand.
But tonight, God was like, no, this whole week I've basically been letting you go in the sense of
Yeah.
Are you
what does that
going
mean?
to hold on to the promise? And letting go being, he just kind of, I don't want to say distant, but it was like he wasn't as like, okay, I'm going to give you tons of encouragement. I'm going to give you so many words of confirmation. I'm going to just keep pouring this on you so that you can still believe, and trying to sustain, like...
It's like the training wheels.
Yeah.
You get like 13 encouragements from this person and that person and this person, and then someone else is encouraging you from the comments on the YouTube, and then it's like you're in the prayer time, and it's just like you just feel the Lord, and He's giving you an inundation of visions, and all that. And it's like none of that.
Whoa, yeah, there really wasn't. And
little whispers. There was whispers.
A few things here and there, and it just had that picture of, okay, here's a dad with his children on the bike, and he's running with them. He's there with them the whole time, but he is not actually holding the bike for them. Helping them with it. They have to actually pedal, and they have to go, and once they get going, and then you might start wobbling a little bit here and there, and he comes and tries to help steady the bike a little bit, and then you go, and he lets go again, and that was just really what our week was. It was just this I think, really a maturing. It's like, all right, you are ready to like go to the next step. It's like, hey, you've practiced on your bike.
It's funny. It's almost like I'm ready to release you.
And you have to, it's
not in the way you would think release.
Yeah.
It's more like releasing you into maturity, because it's like, I got to know that you can handle this before I release you again into something else.
Yeah, and it's like, even with kids, once they are really good with their bike, as a parent, all right, now's the time. And usually they're really excited about getting their training wheels off.
You're not ready for X Games yet.
No, no. But it is.
Maybe you can get a little trip down the sidewalk without me there.
Yeah. But it is. It's just this growth process. And I think he was showing me, and it was really encouraging, because it's like, that makes sense now. It makes sense that, actually you really are trusting us with this vision, with this dream, and it's like, all right, here you go. Let's see. Can you keep carrying it without me constantly having to affirm and hold your hand.
Don't let go, Dad. Don't let go. He's like on the bike, don't let go, Dad. Don't let go. And you're just sitting back there like, I let go like 20 feet ago, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're okay. Doing it. You're doing it. You know? You're rocking this. You know?
And
now, can we talk about, like, what does it mean for us to wobble? Like, we're on the bike and we're starting to wobble. What does that mean for me and you?
I think for us, it means that, like, that those are those moments where we're just like, oh, is this God? Are we really doing what He wants us to do? Are you sure? Like, just kind of going. I mean, it hasn't been the full scale that we used to go through, as far as just, okay, let's just, I think this might be done. We just need to go back to work. We need to do this. We need to do that. Like,
do a lot of like self-reliant things we got to make it happen and get it done, because obviously God's not moving. We obviously missed it. We obviously messed up. See, I told you. That kind of thing.
So it's not
brings you back to the human reasoning point and the human thing.
So I think, like, for us, it has, like, just the wobbling is that, ooh, maybe, but it's not like we're falling over and crashing. It's just that wobbling, and I think even in those times, it's been like, God's like, okay, let me just kind of straighten you up a little bit. Yeah. And
I love her. She got to look good on the camera. Anyway, keep going.
And and just that God is still there with us this whole time, but it's like He wants to mature us. He wants us to. He doesn't want us to always have. He doesn't want us to go through life with training wheels all the time. Yeah. He wants us to become confident in riding a bicycle, holding the dream, holding the vision that He's given us, and moving forward in it. And, and I'm sure there'll be more training times, if He's like, all right, now I want you to start doing X game stuff, then that's going to require a whole level of training. But I think that for me, it was really encouraging tonight because it was like, oh, that's what was going on. It wasn't like we did something wrong or
And
we
that
messed
feeling
up.
can be so amazing. I'm astounded at how overwhelming the feeling can be.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be just so overwhelming, and that should be a key. You know what I mean? That should be a key to you that is not the Lord, that something's not right.
Yeah.
But you feel like something's not right with you and what you've heard and what you're doing, so then you think you're crazy. And it's like, so that's why it's so important to get in contact with the body of Christ. And, you know, it blesses us to make these videos as much as it blesses you.
Yeah.
Because we get contact with you guys, and you guys make comments, and a lot of them are just so good and so on point, and just you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and that can be part
us.
of the training wheels, but at the same time not. You know, when you're kind of dependent on those training wheels, that's different than when someone comments. You're not dependent on it, but it still blesses you.
Because ultimately, God wants us to walk as confident believers. He wants us to be strong in the Lord and just be able to hear something from Him, take Him at His word, and go forward. But He really does. He has to train us up in that. You know, He has to teach us how to hear from Him. He has to teach us how to, you know, lean on Him, but not be so afraid of messing up that we can't even go anywhere. You know, we just get frozen, and it's like...
Well, it's like God loves babies. How many people like babies?
I think
we
everybody.
all love babies. But if you look at the scripture, God uses this one word, which you've used already, walk. You know? And Enoch walked with God. And it talks about like walking, and the Lord walked in the garden because He wanted to walk with Abraham. There's a maturity of relationship that comes when you can walk with a person. You can't do that with a baby, but that's okay. You're not expecting to do that with a baby. You love just holding the baby. You know, you just babies are awesome. We have one right down there. But it's like, I felt like that's kind of like what God was doing with us.
Yeah.
With some of the things that God's been doing with us lately that we haven't really shared or made videos about, but it's like we felt like God transferred us from it's not like we've transferred from the father-daughter, father-son relationship. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, like when you come of age, you move out of the house, you're living life on your own, but you can still have that relationship with your parents. It's like it's a healthy relationship. It's not still like a mom, dad, please kind of relationship. We felt like that's what God was doing, right?
Yeah. That He was just maturing us in...
It was more like a husband-wife relationship, and not a, you know, oh, Dad, can I have this? Dad, can you do this for me? Please. And it's like He was just showing us the difference between how a father communicates maybe with his teenage son and how a husband and wife communicate. It's totally different communication. And that's what He was focusing on, like how we pray and how we're asking and how we're approaching Him when we come. It's just like, how can I get them to the place where I want them to be and how I want them to relate to me, and not always be asking / begging for something. Do you ever beg me for anything?
No. We talk about it. We discuss it.
We don't beg each other.
Yeah, it's like we can determine like what's best for our family, what's, you know, and then go from there. And that's really like we were felt like God was showing us is like He doesn't just want to be the person that we go to and just ask just ask for things all the time and have Him command and direct us. He
like
really
children.
wants to,
that's what
like
children are, you know?
But He's like, I want to actually work with you. I want to join together with you.
And how many times did we hear that last week? Partnering your faith. Partnering your faith. I mean, it was like the car your friend buys and you see it everywhere now. So we kept seeing partner your faith with me type thing. And I'm like, what?
But it just brings like that level of relationship to a whole different arena. You
Yeah.
know, when you can just partner with God, and it really shifts how you see him. It's like, oh, you know, it's not just this childlike faith that I mean, that's probably a kind of a weird way to say it, but it's like we do need childlike faith, but
Sure.
it's like we don't
need
need
to
to
trust
be
him.
a child
Right.
in everything that we do. Because it's like God, I mean, even in life, it's like you don't want your kids to always be a 4-year-old or always be a 7-year-old. You expect in life in general, you grow up
You
and
enjoy
you
all the
mature and you
stages.
enjoy all of the
Yeah.
stages. But it's like the relationship that we have with our children right now compared to when we'll have a relationship with them when they're in their teens or in their 20s and 30s is going to be so different. But each stage there's like a growth, and I think also just a deepening of the relationship as you do mature, as you do get older, because there can
Keep
be
going.
a just a better understanding of, you know, I guess it's like, you know, when you have children, you can only tell them so much of what's really going on. But if your children are then adults and you know that, oh, as
They have
adults,
that level of
they have that
maturity.
level of maturity,
Yeah.
you can really share so much more with them because they're able to
Not
handle
have them
it.
freak out.
Yeah, they're able to handle it. And it's the same with God. You know, if we're only at a certain level, like a 5 or 6-year-old level, he's like, I can only share so much with you because that's all that you can handle. But as you mature
Now,
and grow,
don't start putting yourself in that category
yeah,
either.
for real.
Don't
I
start
mean-
being like, I can see people right now going, oh, that's me. I'm a 5 and 6-year-old with God, and man, have I got a long way to go.
No.
You know, no,
No.
don't. That is not what this video is about. Because the truth of the matter is, you're probably way more mature than you're
Than you
giving
think you
yourself
are.
credit for. You
Yeah.
know?
It's like, let God determine your maturity level. It's just
Yeah.
an example of
Yes.
the fact that we grow and we mature in the Lord. And as we mature...
That's my problem. I'm a 5-year-old in the Lord. I've known the Lord for 30 years and I'm a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? I can just see someone doing that, you know?
But it's like, it's just the example of, okay, as you mature, God's able to give you more of himself, reveal things to you that he couldn't when you were
Well,
younger.
because after training wheels, you got your bike, and then after that bike comes a better bike.
Mm-hmm.
After that bike comes a car. Now we're getting into my passion. You know what I'm saying? And after that El Cheapo, you know, $5,000 Camry, you know, other cooler things are available. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's just like, that's that whole idea of from glory to glory.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like but you have to be willing to step out. So I just personally want to encourage every one of you guys. I mean, we both want to encourage you.
Yeah.
That's like, you are probably way further along than you think.
Yeah.
You're probably hearing from God better than you think. And the attack and the overwhelmingness of everything that's going on, particularly in the season of transition that we're in, and it's like you can feel like, I failed. I've
Yeah.
totally blown it. I've totally messed up, or I've missed it, like what that video you put out. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
no, and oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
No to all of those, you know? Don't believe the lies, man.
Yeah.
It's just not true. In fact, a lot of times when we're going through some of the worst stuff, God is doing some of the best stuff in us.
Yeah, you just...
That'll preach. It's because it's true.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think, well, we're our own worst critics,
We are,
really.
terribly.
And
We're saying things over ourselves all the time
That just
that
aren't
God
true.
is never, ever going to say.
yeah.
Ever. And even if it was slightly true to a certain degree, okay, you might have this issue or that issue, he's going to approach it and deal with it in a completely different way.
Yeah, than we ever would.
He's never going to beat us up. And
No.
we beat ourselves up like
All the time.
constantly, man. I mean, we beat ourselves up against the cage and we knock ourselves out.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
tap ourselves out. We're like, I'm done.
All right, we're done.
I'm done.
Yeah, and that was something else too. When we were talking about the bicycle thing, it was like, well, what if you do crash? you run into this tree or you just completely fall.
Oh, like why did it happen?
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's like...
Yeah,
but
that's a good one.
Well, but I think though it was just like, but God is still there. And He's
yes.
like, He is ready to just pick you back up. And you might get some bruises and stuff, but...
He's not going to say, and that's the thing, this is what happens. In that kind of analogy, this is what we think God's going to do. We crash, and God's like, oh, you crashed. You're done. You're not ready for a bike. I'm taking the bike away.
Yeah.
And that's actually not what He does.
No. No. And I think the beauty of it, though, is God knows exactly when we're ready to progress. And so it's
and a lot of times you're going through what you're going through because that's actually His proof that you're ready.
Yeah.
And you're going like, I don't like this proving.
Yeah.
I don't.
I certainly didn't feel ready.
Can I have the training wheels, please?
Yeah, it's like, wait, what? What's going on?
I like lots of confirmations, and I like to feel the presence. And, I like that. That'd be nice. But then you won't get to see the greater glory.
Yeah.
If He can't mature you,
But, so, I don't know, I hope that that's encouraging to you.
Well, can we talk about the fear part?
Oh, yeah.
Why we crashed to begin with into the tree,
Yeah, so... That's the other thing was like, why do you crash? And a lot of times it really is, especially when we're talking like the bike is the dream, the vision, what you're going after. And it's when things start making you afraid. You're looking at your circumstances and it's like...
That's why Peter crashed.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, like rent is due and this is happening and, whatever it is. And you just start thinking, man, what is God doing? Like, and it starts just welling up because, I think with fear, it's like one thing and then there's two things and there's three things and four things and it's just like all of a sudden your entire life and world seems like it's falling apart.
That's the enemy.
Yeah.
Just saying, oh, look at all these things that are not happening for you.
Yeah. And it's like no. And then it just makes you question and, once you get the questions rolling, it can just be a downward spiral.
Yeah, you get the questions rolling, and it's up to you to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
And
it's like, I'm not figuring this out. I can't. It's impossible.
So it's in those moments, it's when that fear takes over you.
And you just get frozen.
Yeah.
And crash into the tree.
Yeah, we were talking about how, with kids on their bike, they can be going, and then all of a sudden maybe they get afraid, and instead of remembering everything that they were taught, they're like, they forget they have brakes, they forget everything, and all of a sudden it's just like, crash.
I'm headed to the tree.
Yeah.
I'm headed toward a tree.
Yeah. And you
steer, man.
Yeah.
Steer. Brakes. Come on, what you doing? Smash.
And then it's the...
Why did you let that happen to me?
Yeah, exactly. It's so true, which is
not to belittle real tragedies and things like that.
I mean, but that's really what happens even with God. Like we start asking Him, why?
Don't you care, Lord, that we are about to drown? Don't you care that she's left me to do all the work?
Yeah, it's like
well,
it's like yes, I do care. But so it's just. I think, but what's really awesome, I think, during those times is you can just say, help, Jesus, help me. And He's right there. He's right there to help you.
Yep.
And to,
That's totally what I talked about in my video today. You
really?
You don't even realize that.
I haven't even seen your video yet.
That's exactly what I was talking about. You can call on God any moment. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. You call on Him to help because we'll have days of trouble. And if you call on Him in the day of trouble, He's going to answer. Yeah. He's obligated to answer. Not only is He obligated, but He actually just wants to.
Yeah.
He wants to help. So. Double for your trouble. Yes, I'm corny.
But yeah, so that's just kind of what God was showing me tonight. And it was super encouraging. So we just wanted to share that with you guys in the hopes that you could benefit from it and just maybe...
Keep believing.
Yeah, keep believing. Keep riding that bike.
Man. Fully believe. You crash, get up again. Like Poppy says in Trolls, I will get back up again. Get up. Oh. I'm sorry, I had to plant that in your head, didn't I? You're like, great, Devin, thanks. Now it's going to be my head forever.
Yeah.
For those of you who have children and you've seen Trolls 23 times.
And if you haven't, you can just look it up on YouTube.
It's a great movie.
It is.
Anyway.
It's good.
So we hope you guys were blessed and encouraged by that. Did we leave anything out?
I don't think so.
I think so.
That was it.
Yeah, and I just want to say, kind of give a special shout out to a young 16-year-old Ray out there. You know, don't think that because you're young that you fit into that 5-6-year-old maturity level as well. No, you know, believe that God has something for you. You know, and then there's other people out there who are much, much older than Ray. And it's like, it doesn't really matter whether you're, that's I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
If you're super young in the Lord or you're much more mature. I mean, I've known the Lord for 23 years. And it's like, wow, I'm 23 years and I'm just getting the training wheels off. Wait a second. Let me do the math. Wait a second. You know, but then look at Moses. He was 40 years old. Mm-hmm. He was 80 years old, my bad. He spent 40 years in the backside of the wilderness, they say.
Yeah.
Before God released him, you know? And it's like, it doesn't matter, like, I heard, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this name, but when I was growing up in the Lord back in the late 90s, when I first came to know the Lord, there was a famous preacher at the time named Iverna Tompkins, and a message that she preached that sticks with me to this day was, it doesn't matter where you start, but it only matters where you end up. Yeah. And why was that important? Because it matters if you end. Yeah. It matters if you finish. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't really matter how young you are, like Paul said to Timothy, or it doesn't matter how long you've known the Lord. You know, there's always more to him. Yeah. There's always more depth of relationship that he wants to draw you into, because God is infinite and he has infinite intimacy and intimate love for us to experience, and sometimes he has to take the training wheels of our life off. Yeah. You know, for some of you that's leaving your job. For some of you that's transferring to a job that's way beyond your capacity. Yeah. You know, for others, I mean, it could be a list of things. For some of you, it could be like starting a church or starting like a home group or something that's just way outside of your capacity of comfortability. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My gosh, we've been living there for a while. Yeah. Since December, right? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. But anyway, thanks again to all of you guys who are giving to us. It is really, really helping us out. And, man, we just can't. Thank you just seems to be so little. So little. But it's just like.
So appreciate it.
Because it's coming from people we don't expect, and in amounts that we're not asking for or expecting, because we're not trying to raise support or anything like that. But it's just like, you know, it blesses me because it makes me think, wow, God touched their heart to give to us. Yeah. And it's like, it's good because it's just been awesome. Yeah. Because our needs are like constant, you know? It's just like, oh Lord, we're running out. And it's like, well, so-and-so just gave us this amount of money last week, but it's like, I know, but it's gone because there's like 6 of us and we're hungry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then the electric bill was due, and then, we just paid rent today, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, it all is just coming in handy, right on time, right when we need it, and it's just, I have to say it. I have to say thank you so much, because it's just been awesome.
Yeah, it has been really awesome, and it's such an encouragement. Like every single person, it's like, wow. And then I personally, like, am so blessed just hearing that people are praying for us. I mean, that's a big one. That really touches my heart, and it's like, wow, like somebody is caring enough to pray and
pray for our house,
to lift our family up,
pray for our crazy dream.
Yeah, and so that's just really
well, and we really feel called to be givers. So I think it's really great, honestly, personally, to be in this position, so we know what people feel like when we get to the position where we're able to just bless people like crazy. And because I mean, we have a dream of like having a whole list of missionary families that we just support. Yeah. Not that necessarily we're their support or we're their God or anything like that. But sometimes, I mean, honestly, the truth of the matter is, you only need that one person to believe in you, to get you to where you need to be and for you to flourish. You just need that one person. But that one person generally has to have a lot of money. You know what I mean? To be able to give someone like $7,000 to $10,000 a month for their family to be missionaries in Greece or whatever. You know, and it's like that's what we want to do. We have that vision and that passion to be givers, but it's like right now we're in a position to be receivers, and it's so good because it reminds me of what Jesus or it says about Jesus, like he learned obedience through the things he suffered. It's almost like he learned to relate to every little aspect of human life by being human. Mm-hmm. Not that he needed to do that, but it's like knowing, like, or it's like what some business owners do with their kids who want to run the company. They start them at the very bottom. Yeah. And they make them go through every single level. You start out scrubbing toilets. Yeah. And then you can be the CEO. Because you got to go through you got to know what it's like for each one of your employees to go through. So it's like... Well,
and it builds like a character.
It does.
Into a
and
person.
A humility.
Yeah, and
is
humility,
what it does.
Yeah.
It's because my ability to like, well, I can do this. Oh, it's been demolished. Yeah. I mean, ash is not even available. There's no ashes left. I'm just like, wow. But it gives God an opportunity to show, like, see, I can provide for you like that. Here, there's a person right there that's going to provide for you. And it's just like, wow, I don't even know who this person is. And it's like, who are you? You're amazing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, thank you guys so much. Yeah. And we hope this has been a blessing to you. And anything you want to say?
I don't know. It's just been so awesome to get to know all of you, you know, through the comments and...
Oh, and she's coming up with her own channel. Go click on it. Subscribe.
I'll still be on here too, but
that's true.
We're gonna start launching the other
your own personal stuff.
My own personal. You
can talk about women's stuff and stuff like that. You know, I'll hang out with me and the boys right here. All right, guys. See you later.